Most feedback changes nothing. We give it, we feel like we did our job, and a week later the exact same thing is happening again. That is not because people refuse to improve. It is because most feedback is too vague to act on, given too late to matter, or delivered in a way that makes people defensive instead of open. Feedback that actually changes behavior is a skill, and it has a shape. Here are 5 steps to give feedback people will actually act on. Step 1. Make it specific, not general. You need to be more proactive. You should communicate better. Be more of a team player. These feel like feedback, but they give the person nothing to do. They are labels, not actions. And you cannot act on a label. So get specific. Point to one behavior and one real example. In yesterday's meeting, when you talked over Sarah twice, here is what I noticed. Specific is something a person can actually change. Vague just makes them anxious. Step 2. Give it close to the moment. So many managers save feedback up for the yearly review and then deliver 6 months of it in one sitting. By then it has gone cold, the person can barely remember the moment, and it lands like an ambush. Feedback works when it is close to the event, while it still means something, and while the behavior can still change. You do not need a formal meeting. A quiet word soon after is worth more than a polished review months later. Step 3. Lead with the impact. The fastest way to make someone defensive is to label their character. You are careless. You are difficult. The moment it feels like a personal attack, they stop listening and start defending. So skip the label entirely and describe the impact instead. When the report went out with those errors, the client lost confidence, and we spent 2 days fixing it. That is not an attack, it is a consequence. People will argue with your opinion of them. They will not argue with what actually happened. Step 4. Make it a conversation. Feedback handed down as a verdict, from on high, gets resistance almost every time. People do not like being judged. But when feedback feels like a two-way conversation, something shifts, and people actually engage. So say your piece, clearly, and then stop and ask for their view. What is your read on it? Often you will find you were missing half the story. And even when you were not, the person owns the change far more when they were part of the conversation. Step 5. Agree one thing to change. Feedback with no next step is just a complaint dressed up. If the conversation ends and nothing specific was agreed, nothing will happen. So before you finish, land on one concrete change. Just one. Going forward, here is the one thing I would like to see different. Then check in on it later. And notice when they get it right and say so. People will take a lot more feedback from someone who also catches them doing well. So there are the 5. Make it specific, not general. Give it close to the moment. Lead with the impact. Make it a conversation. And agree one thing to change. Good feedback is one of the most useful gifts you can give someone, but only if they can actually use it. Make it specific, make it kind, make it a conversation, and always follow up. That is what we teach at Go Performance Academy. Subscribe for one usable leadership idea every week, and I will see you in the next one.